he looks better vertically down the field, like someone now who's getting to the second and third level quickly. And it's a problem now. Look, he has 10 catches over the past 2 weeks. The average distance of those catches is 10, of those throws that Brady is making to him are 10 yards past the line of scrimmage. So he's running those, what in football terms we call those wide deep crosses, where you see teams for some reason allowing Gronk to get free releases off the line of scrimmage, and he is splitting the safeties when it's cover 2. And when it's cover 3, you see him running up the seams, and you see Tom just dropping back, looking the safety off and looking right to him and drilling him with these passes. And then in the red area, he's becoming a problem again. I don't know what the Raiders were thinking when they split him out. He goes up against a defensive back who he has maybe 6 or 7 inches over in terms of height, and Tom's just looking at him like, "Are you got to be kidding me? You're going to cover Rob Gronkowski like this? If you continue to do that, he's going to continue to rip teams, because now he's got his legs underneath him. Now this offense is humming along, and they're running the football well, and they're playing good defense. Tampa's hitting its stride right now. I cannot wait to see them on Monday night."
Yeah, I know you've been looking at the tape again. As you just mentioned, you have them this week against the Giants. I was actually just told in my ear while we're having this conversation, Brady has been named the NFC Player of the Month, which just goes to show you how they are hitting their stride. And Schefter, what are you hearing from down there about the impact that he has had? I've had some of those conversations with people there, beyond just the play on the field, which we can all obviously see, but just the impact that he has had on the entire organization.
Well, he elevates the level of play for everybody in practice. There's a certain standard that he expects everybody to live up to, and I think that it has elevated the play of the entire organization. We knew the defense was going to be good, but early on in training camp, you heard that the players were all fired up to go out and play against the greatest quarterback of all time on a daily basis in practice. So it's helped the defense get better. You know that the players don't want to disappoint him on offense, so it's elevated them. And if we just look at Brady himself, I remember early on in the season, Greeny, there were people talking about whether he still was the same quarterback, whether he could be the same. And you spoke to people around the league who were studying film of them and said, you got to see these throws that he's making. And now at the age of 43, there's never been a quarterback this old making these types of plays at this level.
His presence, I think, does stabilize a lot of things for people who kind of respond to situations in traditional manners. Nothing suggests that Antonio Brown is someone who has done that consistently. I think that it's possible he could stay on the straight and narrow for the number of months it takes them from now to get to the Super Bowl, but I don't think it's going to be because Tom Brady is around him. I don't think that Tom Brady's presence is that strong, but I do think for the rest of the team, having the best quarterback of all time show up and show interest in you and show interest in you succeeding and telling you how to be as great as he is, I think that's something that's invaluable.
How about the rest of that locker room, Damian Woody, when Antonio Brown, he is now there and working with the team, which he can do, working up towards the end of his suspension, which will expire after they finish their game on Monday night. How about the rest of that locker room with AB?
Well, listen, I think most players will say, at the end of the day, can this play help us win football games? And now that remains to be seen, because we haven't seen meaningful football from AB since 2018. I think the biggest difference in this situation is the team can get rid of AB at any time if he doesn't act in a way that's for the betterment of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But I do think that Tom Brady is just having a huge influence in this locker room. Listen, I think when you see a guy like guys watch, players like a Tom Brady day in and day out, how they prepare, in the meetings, in the weight room, on the practice field. And Tom Brady knows, just being up in New England, that your best football has to come now in November and December. And I'm sure he's echoing those sentiments with all the players in that locker room.
And Schefter, that brings me to the bigger picture piece of this, because I did an essay earlier. A year ago at this time, the Buccaneers were 2-5, and their quarterback had 15 turnovers. Now look at where they sit today. But I have people telling me that Brady's presence in the building has been more significant than his play on the field as far as what he has brought to that organization. What kinds of things are you hearing from people down in Tampa?
Well, exactly that. And I want to go to that point and extend it to Antonio Brown, because I just think, just like Tom Brady's gotten the rest of that team to elevate its performance, he's had an influence on them. I think he's going to do the same thing for Antonio Brown. I think Antonio Brown feels indebted to Tom Brady for Tom Brady looking out for him. I think Tom Brady has helped him out during the time that he was away from football. And just like the rest of the players there, which you're asking, Greeny, feel a certain sense of obligation not to disappoint the GOAT. I think the same is true of Antonio Brown, and it all goes together. And it's one of the reasons that this team is playing at the level it is now, why it's become one of the best teams in all of football, which it is right now, because the defensive side of the football, they elevate their play during practice because they get fired up to go against Tom Brady on a daily basis. Antonio Brown's excited to be there to take that veteran minimum deal with no guaranteed money, with a lot of incentives, because he gets to work with Tom. And you showed the highlight there of the one game they played together in New England. And you could see Antonio Brown go over and give him a big hug and how much it meant to him to do that with Tom Brady. And he talked after the fact of New England releasing him about how he was sorry to disappoint Tom Brady. He'd love to play with Tom Brady. Well, he's got that chance again right now, and I think he wants to make it right with Tom.
And Louis, you have them Monday night. In the last game, they'll play without AB. So as you're looking at the tape, what are you envisioning Antonio Brown will be for that team when he is on the field with them?
Well, he's a movable chess piece that also happens to be a surefire Hall of Famer, which really is a pretty good position to be in if you're the Tampa Bay Bucks and you're Byron Leftwich and you're Bruce Arians and you're Tom Brady. Because right now, even without him, although, Chris Godwin's going to be out for the foreseeable future, we know he's going to be out this week. It could be longer with that fractured finger. The fact of the matter is they have got speed, they've got size, they've got running ability, they've got an offensive line that's playing well, and they've got Tom Brady. So when you put Antonio Brown into the mix, who quite honestly is uncoverable one-on-one, maybe uncoverable when you double team him, it's just like you can say whatever you want. I mean, just think of the rosiest scenario possible within the context of this offense, and that's what you're probably going to get as long as he takes care of things when he's not in Tom Brady's presence, which is going to determine everything for his future going forward.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.